This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about doing the work, and as in like developmental work, personal work, self-work, seeing our frames, seeing our beliefs, seeing our Enneagram type, see how we act under stress. Like that's what the work is. But I'm going to talk about it from two ends, and one is, they're both kind of common conversations that I have. One is this idea of when am I on doing it, and when do I, turn off and not do it, like in a normal conversation, for example. And then the other one is based around listening. And I'm going to start with listening. So a lot of the work that we do is really learning to listen. So there's 4 levels of listening. I mentioned it recently in a podcast about a week ago. But the deepest level of listening is called sacred listening. And sacred listening is allowing ourselves to be in a space to just truly be there with the other person and listen with all of our body and all of our senses to all of their body and all of their senses, and not be there with any agenda, not to think there and trying to solve problems for them as they're talking about it, because if you're thinking of solving their problem as they're talking, then you're not listening, all right, because you're thinking. And so this is really interesting in itself, but a lot of the time people will come up with this question. There's something along the lines of, this person does this, does that usually mean X, Y, or Z? And they may know that I can't know what it means. You have to calibrate and check in with that individual as well. But one of the key things that I see missing from a lot of people when they say, oh, this person does this, and they can really see their frames and all that sort of stuff, and they'll see how the situation played out. Maybe they're one person and the person they're talking about is a second person. What they often, and I can catch myself in this as well, but what they often forget is to go, okay, that's going on for them, but what's coming up for me? What are the sounds? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings? And what are all these things coming up for me? Because when I'm sacredly listening, I'm not just listening to them. I need to be listening to me. I need to be seeing what my reactions are, and like, why is that reaction coming up? Is that a resourceful reaction, or is it not a resourceful reaction? Is it something that I probably should look to change if I really want to develop and move into a new area, change my scope and change my results in my life? And so the really interesting thing here is being able to intimately, sacredly listen to another person. But there is no one else more important to listen to than yourself. And really, with the thoughts and the frames, beliefs that are coming up, is to really fucking test them and see, like, because they'll fall apart with proper testing. And you test by asking questions and good questions. By doing so, you can really just pull apart the belief structure that usually holds up behaviors that have governed us for years. And it's just, an example today I can give you is like, you know what they say. It's like, okay, who's they? It's like, well, people. It's like, which people? It's like, I don't know. I just remember my mum and her friends saying these things. It's like, okay, what do they say? When? And how many of them? It's like, fuck, I don't know. It might have actually been a TV ad that said this sentence, whatever it was. And all of a sudden we start to realize that I've heard it once, twice, maybe 3 times, and maybe it was an ad, so it was an advertising marketing campaign from years ago that just continually ran, and it's now embedded itself in my brain, and it's actually changed one of the frames that makes me, or govern one of the frames that makes me think about why I should or shouldn't do something. And so there's this intimate listening that being there for somebody else is just so beautiful, but there's no one else that you need to be there for than yourself. It's the same idea around, I wouldn't have done this if this person didn't believe in me. It's like someone believing you is really nice, and it's supportive, and it's great, and it can really help us, but it doesn't fucking mean shit if you don't believe in you. You have to believe in you. You have to be able to see your confidence and your self-confidence, your esteem. You have to be able to that, because if it's on someone else and then all of a sudden there's some sort of fight, there goes all of your esteem. It's all conditional. It's all shit, and that's all lies. So the key thing there is truly being able to listen to yourself so you can hear the lies as they come up and then get rid of the junk. I mean, clear the crap is a way to think about it, because a lot of the stuff is crap. Our potential, it's already there. We don't have to develop it. We have to get rid of the shit that's in the way of it and let it unravel. Like, that's the fucking difference. So that's the first thing that comes up. The other idea around turning on or off is, like, with this type of stuff, is that you're always on, but it's different. It's not the same as, like when you're working. So if I'm talking to a friend, I'm still intimately listening to, depending, maybe sometimes I choose not to, but I'm listening. I'm watching where their eyes are going. I'm seeing and hearing what they're not saying. I'm paying attention to maybe some patterns or frames that I'm hearing. I'm just not feeding it back to them. I mean, like, I probably don't have permission. They're probably just venting. They probably don't care for the way that I want to be coached. They don't care about the thinking stuff that I do, or the stupid podcast that I have, or whatever frame, right? They just want to have a friend that they want to talk to. And so in that conversation, I'm still on. I'm just not in that space of being able to go, here's what I'm hearing. Does this sound true for you? Does this land for you? What do you believe about that? What does that say about you as a person? I'm not doing that shit. But I'm still developing and learning and listening. And then I'm in that moment also, once again, watching my stuff come up. I'm watching, why am I wanting to fix right now? Why am I wanting to give this person answers? It's like, what's coming up from, like, that's happening right now in this moment, for example. Why is that happening? And what's that got to do with? It's like, well, you're always helping people. It's like, why am I always helping people? It's like, because that's what you should do with your life. It's like, why should I do that in my life? It's like, because that's the only thing worth living for. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? It's like, well, Nan used to say it. You're like, right, fuck. And you start seeing this pattern all of a sudden again of just some frame, some belief that was passed on to you at some point that you decided at the time was worthy, and you kept it. And then later on, you just parked it, but you didn't realize that software, you're trying to upgrade the car, but you've still got the fucking old software. Or the computer's probably a better way. It's like you're trying to upgrade the hardware, but the software is fucking still running Windows 95. It's like, get rid of Windows 95 and start installing the new shit on there, which means it's going to take some time to uninstall all the old crap to install the new stuff. And you're probably going to have to spend some money and get around some fucking experts. But the thing about it is that if you don't, you're going to be there with Windows 95 because you've got no idea that there's other ways to do it. That's all you know. And so the key thing here is with being on or being off is that you're always on, but that means that you're never on because you're just being, you're just there, you're just listening. Because when I'm sacred listening, I'm not trying to be on. I'm listening. It's not called on. It's called being fucking present, right? And as I see my things come up, maybe I see it and I recognize it and I park it and I come back to it later if I need to. So this is the beauty of being able to really pay attention and really listen for the other person for sure, but definitely for ourselves. We crave to be heard. Even those of us that stay silent, we still crave to be heard on many levels. And more often than not, it's because we're not fucking listening to ourselves. But on that note, team, if you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. If you haven't already, then jump on Facebook and continue or start the conversation. We'd love to have you in there and what you've found beneficial in this podcast and in the other podcasts. You'll find us in Facebook, probably not in Facebook. Can you be in Facebook? Anyway, on Facebook at Mood Prep Online. Join the group and look, pretty much I'll see you there. Otherwise, you guys know the drill. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
Is happiness to be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbright.